Game Carreño Busta.
As you can see, the impact made the lineswoman drop to the ground, clutching her neck. Djokovic's reaction was one of shock and remorse. He has since apologized on Twitter, saying, "This whole situation has left me really sad and empty."
Welcome to Zona TP, the channel where we revisit the most incredible stories and the most epic battles in tennis. Today we are going to relive a match that was not simply a Grand Slam final, but a moment forever etched in the memory of every sports fan. We go back to London to the center court of the All England Club on July 14th, 2019, the day tennis stopped to witness one of the greatest battles in history, Novak Djokovic versus Roger Federer, the Wimbledon final. What happened that day still generates debate, emotion, and goosebumps, because never before had a Wimbledon final reached such intensity, such drama, such historic impact. It was a clash between two titans, two players who had already defined an era. Roger Federer, the Swiss maestro, arrived looking for his 9th Wimbledon title, the tournament that had always been his garden, his territory, his home. At 37 years old, he could still play with an elegance and precision that seemed impossible, and that final was his chance to claim what would have been his 21st Grand Slam. Across the net stood Novak Djokovic, the Serb who had spent years forging a reputation as invincible, as a human wall, as the player who never gives up, who always finds a way back, even when he looks beaten. Djokovic did not have the crowd on his side, but he had his most powerful weapon, an unbreakable mind. The atmosphere was electric. From the very first point, it was clear this was not going to be just another match.
First of all, how do you see this one shaping up? Obviously on paper a tough task for Pablo Carreño Busta after the quality that Novak has produced so far this season. Oh, well done. Oh, come on. That is too good.
Carreño Busta.
Oh. Almost. Goodness me.
Djokovic just has been coughing up a few errors here or there. Yeah, but like you said, Lee, Djokovic again.
Federer started with that magical tennis that had so often dazzled on the Wimbledon grass. Perfect serves, flawless volleys, impossible shots that drew applause from the crowd. Djokovic, in contrast, responded with what he does best: resist, return everything, wear his opponent down, wait for the right moment to strike. It was a clash of styles that made the contest even more fascinating. The first set went to a tie-break, and there Djokovic showed why he is one of the very best in those situations. With ice in his veins, he took it and moved ahead on the scoreboard. But Federer responded immediately. In the second set, he crushed the Serb with perfect tennis, 6-1, and the crowd erupted for him, already dreaming of a historic afternoon. The third set, once again a tiebreak, once again Djokovic. The fourth, however, went to Federer, 6-4, forcing a fifth set. What came next was a roller coaster of emotions no one was prepared to live. The fifth set unfolded with brutal balance. Federer held serve comfortably. Djokovic resisted with spectacular returns.
Djokovic is down. Oof, this looks nasty. This looks nasty. It was a good point from Carreño Busta. Good use of the court. Didn't really get a good look at where the impact was. Second chance for Carreño Busta.
The crowd vibrated with every point, but deep down, everyone was waiting for that decisive moment, that instant when one of the two could break the match open. And that instant arrived with Federer serving at 8-7. The scoreboard read 40-15. 2 championship points for Roger Federer, 2 opportunities to close out the match, to win his 9th Wimbledon, to add his 21st Grand Slam.
A bizarre moment at the U.S. Open. Novak Djokovic, the world's top tennis player, has been disqualified from the U.S. Open after accidentally hitting a lineswoman with a ball. Take a look.
Game, Carreño Busta.
As you can see, the impact made the lineswoman drop to the ground, clutching her neck. Djokovic's reaction was one of shock and remorse. He has since apologized on Twitter, saying, "This whole situation has left me really sad and empty."
2 opportunities to etch his name once more in golden letters. The stadium rose to its feet. The crowd held its breath. Federer launched the first championship serve, and Djokovic returned it as if nothing. The rally was short, and Novak took the point. 40-30, 1 championship point left for Federer. The Swiss prepared to serve again, this time down the tee. Djokovic
Novak understandably extremely concerned with the seriousness of this situation. Quickly on hand to help out. The trainer is not too far away, the supervisor as well. Chair umpire is
returned aggressively. Federer went for the down-the-line forehand, and the ball sailed out by inches. Match point saved. The stadium froze. Nobody could believe it. Federer had let the opportunity slip away, and in that moment, something changed. Djokovic, who had been against the ropes, came alive. As he had so many times before in his career, when he seemed beaten, he found the mental strength to turn everything around. From that moment on, the final was transformed. Djokovic began to play with incredible calm, with the conviction that the match was his. Federer
she was in trouble. A conversation now with Novak and the officials. This could be a very serious situation.
Federer, on the other hand, though he kept fighting, carried the weight of having let glory slip through his fingers. Each point was played under unbearable tension. Each rally was pure drama, and the 5th set dragged on. 9-9, 10-10, 11-11, 12-12, until they reached the new tiebreak format Wimbledon had introduced that very year, a tiebreak at 12-all. Never before had a Wimbledon final reached that situation.
And it looks like a default for Novak Djokovic. What a dramatic conclusion to what has already been a peculiar and dramatic Grand Slam tournament. The run of 26 matches has come to an end in the most peculiar and dramatic conclusion. The world number 1, the top seed and the 3-time champion, has been defaulted at the US Open, and Pablo Carreño Busta is into the quarterfinals. Novak Djokovic, you would imagine, is devastated. We do hope the line official makes a full recovery, but goodness me, what a dramatic twist at the tail end of this first set, Taylor Dent.
Was the first time in history, and destiny had chosen Djokovic and Federer to be its protagonists. The tiebreak reflected everything that had happened in the match. Federer looked for impossible shots, daring volleys, trying to impose his magic. Djokovic instead played with ice in his veins, returning everything, punishing every error, every flicker of doubt from the Swiss. The crowd supported Federer with all their might, but it was Djokovic who imposed his law. And finally, after 4 hours and 57 minutes of battle,
we want to turn now to that bizarre moment at the U.S. Open that so many are talking about. Top-ranked tennis superstar Novak Djokovic abruptly disqualified from the tournament after he hit a ball toward the backboard and struck a line judge in the throat. Adrian Bankert has the latest.
Game kanya gusta.
He was undefeated, now he's out. The #1 tennis player in the world ousted from the U.S. Open. Novak Djokovic hit a ball out of anger from the court, frustrated after losing a point to Spain's Pablo Carreño Busta, accidentally striking a lineswoman in the neck. You can see the star player immediately running over as she collapsed to the ground to see if she was okay. Medics running to the court to attend
Novak
to her.
Djokovic raised his arms to the sky. Wimbledon champion 2019. The final score was 7-6, 1-6, 7-6, 4-6, 13-12. The longest final in the history of the tournament. Djokovic had claimed his 5th Wimbledon and his 16th Grand Slam, but beyond the result.
Djokovic saying, "This whole situation has left me really sad and empty. I'm extremely sorry to have caused her such stress. So unintended, so wrong." He added that he needs to turn this all into a lesson for my growth and evolution as a player and human being. An abrupt ending to Djokovic's quest for a 4th U.S. Open title after an already difficult summer. Djokovic apologized in June after he, his wife, and 3 other players tested positive for COVID-19 at a charity tennis tournament he hosted. With fans in the stands, no social distancing.
What remained etched was the way he achieved it. He had been 1 point away from losing, 1 point away from seeing Federer lift the trophy, and instead of surrendering, instead of collapsing, he turned into stone. He resisted, he survived, and he won. That is the essence of Novak Djokovic, a mental strength unmatched in the history of tennis. Federer, for his part, produced one of the most memorable performances of his career. He played brilliant tennis, had the crowd at his feet, and was just 1 point from making history. But tennis can be cruel. Sport does not care for poetic justice. Federer was.
I think that it was bad luck. No, you cannot do this. But of course, I think that Novak never wants to hit the line umpire.
USTA officials speaking about the incident overnight, defending their decision.
According to the rules, he had to be defaulted. The line umpire was clearly hurt. He hit the ball recklessly, angrily, and that was the right decision, I believe.
Defeated, and many consider it the most painful match of his career. Yet it was also a reminder of his greatness, because even in defeat, Federer left an indelible legacy. The match was far more than a result. It was a clash of styles, of generations, of philosophies. It was proof that tennis is not only about talent, but also about character, mentality, and the ability to withstand the hardest moments. And it was also confirmation that Djokovic is one of the greatest of all time, because to beat Federer at Wimbledon on center court with the entire crowd against you, you must.
Out of her seat. And we didn't see it, Taylor, but I'm wondering whether that ball has struck the lines judge. We're not 100% from the pictures we have, and it's out of our view here where we're sitting inside Arthur Ashe Stadium. Didn't get a look of exactly what happened. It's just in front of us. Can't actually quite see that end of the court.
Tell you what, it's going to be an interesting decision. I mean, it's not like Djokovic didn't already fire a ball into the side fence there. I mean, this is hopefully the lines umpire is okay.
Yeah,
she looks like she's recovering.
That's first and foremost. Let's focus on her recovery initially.
To be more than a champion, you must be a legend. That afternoon in London, tennis reached its highest expression. A match that had everything: quality, emotion, drama, history. A match that will forever be remembered as the most epic Wimbledon final of all time. A match that reminded us why we love this sport, because in tennis, as in life, nothing is written. You can be 1 point from defeat and still find a way to win. Novak Djokovic did. Roger Federer was within touching distance, and all of us who witnessed that match will never forget it.